This is a go.
We are on.
Where are we on?
We're, we're I don't know. We're on. I think we're on. Let's see, TikTok. We're on YouTube. We're on Twitch and whatever.
Oh,
Anyway, uh, Al here, Movie Albert, and we have Tom Basil Chesterman, and
yeah.
we haven't chatted in a while. So uh,
No,
I'm actually using Restream,
really?
and I'm checking it out. It had StreamYard, but StreamYard went up in price,
Yeah.
and so I had
You want
Restream.
some M&Ms?
Oh, where'd you get those at? Costco, right?
Yeah,
Just- are
they're
they
good.
the are they
Or
the
you could say,
are they the peanuts?
yeah,
Ooh, those are the best kind.
yeah. I'm gonna eat a blue one.
Ooh,
Hey, nothing happened.
no, I love those things. They're really really good. I
Well, I'm gonna now screw the lid back on
yeah.
because I'll eat the whole jar. You know?
Well, if if they were over, like I told you on the phone, I went to Kroger and I bought some donut holes. I bought a box of them, and they're all gone. I bought them yesterday.
Yeah.
You know,
It doesn't take much.
it don't take much if they're good. And I even when I bought them at Kroger, I took them out of the bag and was eating them driving home. just like it's like if you go get some French fries at
Yeah.
McDonald's or Wendy's, you start eating them before you get home.
Well, I've told the story before back when we were doing nostalgic pod blast with Chan.
Right. With chance, yeah.
And whereas me and Hudgens, Tom Hudgens, a mutual friend of ours, is now
Yeah. In
passed on.
Virginia. Yeah.
And we would go all the way over to Norfolk, Virginia from Newport News, which means cross the Hampton Roads Bridge Tunnel
Right.
in order to go to Shakey's Pizza Parlor.
Ooh.
And we'd buy pizza for everybody, but we'd also buy a small travel pizza as well.
Oh, and you'd gobble that down driving home.
Yes.
That's great.
That was Tom's idea, which was
Oh,
a great idea.
that's pretty cool.
And it was smart because by the time we got to the house, nobody knew that we had a travel pizza. And
Right.
so we still got, what we wanted.
Cool.
We were hungry. We were hungry hippos back then. And so, we got what we wanted and
Mhm.
got, everything we did. So anyway, if you ever put Legos together,
What is that?
Legos,
Yeah.
Legos.
Oh,
So my
yeah.
son they got me this
That's Steamboat Willie.
a while back.
Oh,
It's
that's pretty
Steamboat.
cool.
It's Steamboat Willie, and so I have never put it together, and so
I would kind of leave it in the box, maybe.
well, yeah, and then for Christmas, uh, my wife got me this big one. I got backup of the Batmobile.
The Batmobile.
It's big.
Now, is that already put together, or is it?
No,
Oh,
no, but you see how big it is. And
it's huge.
yeah, it's 1,822 pieces.
Oh, well,
1,800.
that'll keep you busy.
Yeah, it's big and
Yeah.
there's a lot to it.
Well, that's cool.
So I've cleared off the table here, which used to have all the microphones and all
Right.
this stuff, broadcast stuff here.
Well, what you need to do is set it all back up. No, just do it not as elaborate as you had it before, but just set up a couple of cameras and stuff.
Yeah, wow, I may get wild here and do that.
Yeah. Well,
But I also took out of the box some other stuff which I found, which I forgot I had, which is this really nice Samsung speaker. And it's got tubes right here. It's got two tubes.
that's just
So,
it's
got
just
some
speakers, or is it a radio, or
speakers.
Right.
It's got two speakers. It's got a big subwoofer under here, and that thing cost a lot of money back in the day. When I say back in the day, I just mean a few years ago. And I got it for like $150 blowout at Brandsmart. No, it did
Brandsmart. I
not
haven't
come
been
with
to
a remote
Brandsmart in
control,
forever.
and the feet were off the bottom. So I had to
Mhm.
buy the feet and had to buy a remote, which didn't cost very much. But it's a complete unit. It's all solid wood, and it
Now,
weighs a ton.
what do you hook it
And
to?
it sounds really good.
What do you hook it to?
Wait a minute, I can't hear you all of a sudden.
I said, what do you hook it to?
There you go. Well, you can let me take the phone off.
Like on your television or movies or your phone or
Hang a minute. Yeah, you can hook it to your phone.
right.
Wait a minute. For some reason, your volume just went down again. I don't know.
Um,
So you can hook it to your phone, and basically, it does has Bluetooth on it, and you can hook an iPod directly to it via a. Hang a minute. I'll show you this little apparatus here that unhooks in the back. I don't know if you can see that or not.
I see it. Yes.
Yeah, but anyway, the iPod hooks right into there. That collapses, and it's got other sundry connections in the back of it. So anyway, you have to excuse my lighting for today because I put my lights away and they're not accessible
Right.
right now. So that's why.
So
So
that
anyway,
is pretty cool. And how I don't ever remember seeing that when I was over there.
because it was upstairs. It was upstairs in the den, or what do you want to call it,
Oh, okay.
where the fireplace is at.
Mhm.
And it was on a bookshelf. But it sounds really good. I mean, and it's loud. It is really loud. And,
Well, that's cool. I mean, I I may have seen it when I was over there one time, but I mean, that's something that's nice. You
sure
know.
I've showed it to you.
Yeah,
But,
you probably did.
that being the case, it takes Bluetooth, direct audio in, and it's got all the crap to it. I even hooked it to my TV up there one time, and it sounded, like I said, it sounded real good.
It's like a sound bar.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's like a big fancy soundbar, and that's, like I said, that sucker cost $700-800 back when they first came out.
Right.
And they had two models, and this is the better of the two models. Now, since then, I don't know if they still make them or not. I don't keep up with electronics like I used to.
Right.
But for all I know, they still make them. I don't know. It's Samsung, so who knows? Who knows? But anyway, tell me what you're doing. But anyway, we were talking earlier. We went to the movie theater and we saw Nosferatu.
Oh, you did go see it?
Yeah, I went with you. Remember?
No, you didn't go see Nosferatu with me.
Yes, I did. We were right beside each other.
Oh, that's why. Duh. That's right. Well, I'm going to watch it again. I thought it was more substance
Yeah.
than it was more style than substance. What I want to say.
Yeah.
But I didn't care for the story. It bounced all over the place.
It did.
Really. It didn't flow like I wanted it to. It was just, you had these, it was real slow in the beginning and then it picked up. And also I didn't particularly like the way Nosferatu looked. Now they say the real one had a mustache,
Right.
but I just didn't like the look of him for some reason.
I didn't either.
I guess it's because we're so used to seeing the teeth and that sort of stuff. And you never really saw his teeth except when he got ready to bite. And they say, if you remember, he would bite the victims in their chest instead of their neck.
Yeah.
And they said that that's the way that Nosferatu actually was in the book. He would bite in the chest.
Maybe they were more true to the book, I think.
Yeah.
They weren't trying to copy the original silent movie classic.
Well, I watched a podcast with Robert Eggers. I think I told you. And he said he didn't want to make the standard Dracula movie. He wanted to make it more true to the book.
Right.
So now I will say that it looked great. It had a fantastic look. I love the set design and the cinematography.
Yeah.
And but it was just a little slow, but it picked up. Like I said, I'll watch it again and have maybe a second opinion. But
Will you go to the theater to see it?
what?
Will you go to the theater to see it?
I might probably, you know, just one more time. And I'm not sure I'll buy it on Blu-ray. Probably I would, but after watching the podcast with Robert Eggers and the DP, um, I got what they were trying to do. It was more. I understood the movie more by listening to how they made the movie. It was filmed on sound stages in Prague,
Right.
over there, and they actually built all those sets. They spent a lot of money
Yeah.
doing that, and he wanted to recreate the street scenes exactly like they were in the book.
Well,
And
that's just like the movie The Munsters that Rob Zombie did.
right,
He recreated the Munster Mansion to a T. And did you see it that much? No. So that seemed like such a waste of money to me when they could have CGI'd it or something like that. But to me, the street scenes and stuff were great, but was it really worth the money? I don't know. I don't know what the
well,
box
I mean,
office has been.
we watched that movie. I remember we did at your place. But anyway, I
Yeah.
thought the movie looked great. I just didn't care for I just didn't care for the characters. I didn't like the lady that played his wife. His wife was what's her name?
Johnny Depp's daughter.
Lily.
Yeah.
Lily Munster. But
Oh yeah, Rob Zombie.
I didn't like his wife. I don't. She wasn't very good.
I didn't think she was very good either. But anyway, I digress. You were talking earlier about. We were talking offline earlier, also referring to movies when you used to run dailies. And
I did.
What I find interesting about dailies, what most people don't realize, is that when you used to run the dailies back then, the actual 35 millimeter film, contact, print, whatever you want to call it, did not have a soundtrack on it. So
Yeah.
explain that one. Explain that you had the interlock. It's called interlocking.
Interlock.
So how did you do that?
When they shoot a movie on film, they don't record the soundtrack on the film itself. It's just 35 millimeter silent film.
Right. They recorded it back then on a Nagra, a real recorder, which is a real fancy. Yeah.
Those are real expensive recorders, but they recorded it on recorders, and then when they process the film, then the editor, he takes the role of. And the audio is recorded on 35 millimeter film.
Right.
It's got a magnetic track right down the middle, and so they record the audio separately on a roll of film. It's just a magnetic stripe film, and then when they run dailies like I used to do, they interlock the video with the audio.
Right.
And the editor, he'll mark on the leader where you load the film in the gate. He'll put a big X, and you load the image in one gate and the audio in the other gate, and you just
was it a special projector?
Yes. It's 35 millimeter, but you have your video reel up here, and then you have your audio reel just below it, and the films interlock together.
Gotcha.
And you have you had a take-up reel for your audio and a take-up reel for your video.
Right. So it wasn't a regular simplex, a Century projector. It was a special projector that was used.
Right. Most of them were Century projectors, but they could interlock. They could build any projector. They could build an interlock system. It's just a big box is what it is. It's just a huge box, and it's got the mechanism there and the lens, and that's it. And so, but it was fun. I enjoyed doing it, but it was a lot of work. It's a lot of work. And then when you run dailies, like I think I told you one night, I got a call and they wanted to run dailies at 10 o'clock at night. And sometimes they can have, on a movie, they can have 3 or 4 reels, they can have 1 reel, or they can have multiple reels. It depends on what they shoot. Now, sometimes if they shoot a film and they're maybe go 2 days without seeing dailies, then the next day it's going to be a stack of film.
Right.
So it's just whenever the director wants to see stuff. And a lot of people, a lot of actors, they said they didn't like to watch their dailies. There were so many of the famous people that want to watch themselves, you know, because they would critique themselves too much. They would wait and see the finished product.
Yeah, they don't want to see
I
themselves.
think Katharine Hepburn was that way. She never really went to dailies. She didn't like to watch them, and so she would watch the finished product maybe when the movie was finished, and that's it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
but it's a lot of work. They paid me back then. I got $75 an hour,
Wow.
and it was a 4 hour minimum. That I could work either 1 hour, or 2 hours, or 4 hours, or anything over 4 hours. Well, of course, it was extra money, but it never really went over 4 hours. Usually, maybe 2 to 3 hours.
Right.
So,
Sorry, I had to get my puppy dog.
oh,
Her name.
how old is Telly now?
We think Telly's probably about 9 years old.
Yeah. Well, little dogs live a long time.
Well, she's a long-haired Chihuahua, and she's a good pup. She's a good pup.
Well, Sonny, he's 11 now.
The farmer's dog food regiment, which is real expensive. But when you got 8 dogs,
No, that's true. That's true.
she's not like
I don't see how you handle that.
recipe.
That's just like that's crazy. But it's if you're an animal lover, I can understand.
Yeah.
You like animal
But
lovers.
as long as they eat and
What?
they're healthy,
Yeah.
they'll stay.
Well, Sonny's healthy. He's got just a slight little cataract on his left eye, but Dr. Smith said it wasn't too bad. His other eye's fine.
Yeah.
And my last Cocker Spaniel, Truman, he was, by the time he passed away, he was completely blind. But we're all, the vet told me that dogs accept it. It bothers the owner more than it bothers the dog.
Yeah, it probably does. Dog can adapt.
They adapt to it because when Truman was around, he could jump on the couch, he could get on the bed. He would go up with his nose and touch it, and then boom.
Yeah.
He knows his way around. So anyway, getting back to movies, Tom used to be a projectionist.
Yeah.
In the theaters.
Yeah, you showed me all the ins and outs of what to do, what not to do.
I kind of like, and I learned my craft from Bob Carr, who has since passed away. He was a good friend of mine, but he wrote a book called, it was a technical book about something about film. I've got the book, but he was very knowledgeable. Anyway, I learned the craft from him. Now, Bob was a disc jockey. He worked over at Quixie Radio in the mornings as Willis the Guard, but he wrote a book. And but when I started getting into the theater business, he taught me everything I knew. And then what he taught me, I kind of taught you.
Well, did Bob have a good announcer voice?
Yes. Yeah.
You have some air checks of him?
No, sadly, I don't. I don't have anything of his. I just remember he worked at Quixie here in Atlanta with Gary McKee in the mornings.
Yeah, I've noticed here lately is if you listen to the Radio Classics channel, there's one announcer they're using that tries to sound nostalgic. And to me, he sounds like Don Kennedy.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It's like, oh, let's copy Don Kennedy. And Don Kennedy's one of Al's good longtime friends. Of course, I've met him, more than a handful of times.
Don Kennedy was a great friend. He was really a good friend. He passed away last year. I think it was last year, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was last year.
I think he did last year. I got
a syndicated show.
Yeah, he signed this CD for me. We see here. You can't really see it too well, but he signed that. It was the Big Band Magic CD. But because we went to visit him with Ryan, when Ryan was here, Ryan DeHue.
He did his show was called Big Band Jump, right?
Yeah, I've got a bunch of his shows. I think I've got a bunch of them. It was syndicated. He was on satellite radio for a while.
Yeah. But he was also local ABC affiliate. Show talent.
That's one of his. Here's one of his sheets from his shows. Cue sheets. Big Band Jump.
Yeah.
But he was a good friend. I got a bunch of those shows I listened to from time to time. So
Yeah, he was a good man.
he was a good man. He really was. He really was. You know, getting back to the theaters before we, Tom was a projectionist over at the Snellville 12, which was a Carmike theater.
Right.
And of course, AMC bought out Carmike. But I really love, we went to the grand opening, or I did, because Crockett was the district manager. But anyway,
I was already there.
yeah. But, and I think Randy was the engineer.
He was.
And he was a good friend. But anyway, the theater's always been one of my favorites. It's close by,
Yeah.
But sadly, AMC closed the theater in July. They shut down a lot of the classic cinemas they bought from Carmike. But luckily, NCG Cinemas is moving into that same location. They're supposed to be open by springtime with new movies. I put a video. I went and remember the Batman movie.
Yeah.
Anyway, I shot a video of that theater. I'm gonna try to play it here. Let's see if it's
all right. I'm here
works.
to see the very first showing of the Batman. It's in theater.
There's your theater.
Yeah. No, none of that's there now. Still there.
No, all this has been ripped out. Even the wallpaper, all that is gone. You can see. Hang on a second.
Throw out all that stuff.
Yeah.
Again, it seems like a waste.
Here's those lights.
Yeah, there's the sconces.
Oh yeah.
Where's the panels?
Trail boss. This thing's built for
The panels are behind you.
Oh, I meant the cat. It's like nobody's seen a cat before.
This is one of the larger auditoriums.
Find new friends. Find new roads. Chevrolet.
Half of the nation's opioid overdoses happen right at.
Yeah, that's one of the bigger theaters there for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, we look different. Hang on a second. Let me go back there.
Oh,
there we go. I'm playing with StreamYard. How you like that? The Tom made that logo there.
yeah.
All right, here's a video of the outside of the theater.
outside of the AMC Classic Theater I go to. Snellville, Georgia.
Huh?
There's the outside.
I see your both on.
Yep,
Still a nice
plenty
theater.
of parking there too. Now those one sheet frames are still there.
Yes. And you said those lights are still there. Those
Yeah, those lights are they're still there.
yeah. Wow. Anyway, great tour of the parking lot.
Oh yeah. But
I bet you spun around.
luckily NCG is going to go in there
A Beetle.
and they're putting all new equipment in there, new reclining seats and everything. There you go. There's the outside.
Wow. That's it. Used to say Carmike on the front of it.
It will pretty soon.
I mean, it used to say Carmike. I guess it will say.
No, it'll be
NCG.
it'll be NCG up there.
Yeah.
I'm playing. Let me see here. I got. There we go. I'm learning this, and I have one more. This is the AMC. Here we go.
Wow. That's not.
Those are the commercials they play front and center.
Yeah.
I shot these with my little GoPro knockoff camera.
Yeah. No, they look good.
Yeah. That's what they played. They had a little bit of music playing between movies, the movie.
Hop in for refills all year with our AMC Classic 2022 refillable popcorn bucket. You'll save every
Wow.
time you pop in
Yeah.
with refills for only $4.99 each visit. A great value for the perfect movie.
$4.99.
Yeah.
I bet they're not $4.99 anymore.
They're $5, but the bucket was $20. The new one.
Yeah.
And now they're $25.
Wow.
So
Are you stuck on
I
this?
may not buy a new bucket. I don't know.
Okay. Are you stuck on this? All thing is a freeze frame of the AMC theater.
What?
I'm not seeing us anymore. I just see a freeze frame of the video.
Oh, we're back.
Oh, well, all I see is a full screenshot of the AMC.
Let me.
And but anyway, that's okay.
Wait a minute. Let me
I'll
see.
believe
Let me see here.
Anyway, well, it's sad that they're ripping all that out, but it's also nice that they're redoing it, and it'll be open soon, and you'll
Yeah.
be able to.
We're
tell-
on. Here we go. You're there. I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh, let me click. Let me click that again. Oh well, but maybe it'll click back in. But anyway, I wanted to come on here. This is the first time I've really used the Restream Studio. Usually, I normally use OBS, but I'm learning the ropes of it, and it's pretty cool.
Yeah, it is.
So, is it still frozen?
No, I scrolled and found it. So.
Oh, okay. But that's cool. But I'm still going to keep the AMC A-list member. I would like to work in a theater again, but I don't know what an old guy would do in a movie theater anymore. They don't have projectionists, and I don't want to push popcorn. I guess I could go clean the theater.
The dishwasher job is still open, I bet.
Oh yeah, it's funny. I went on the AMC site, and you can click your zip code, and it's got all the theaters and what jobs are open. Right. And the web gen needs dishwashers. I'm not below doing anything really.
Well, it pays decent, so.
It doesn't pay a whole lot. I think it starts out at 14 or 15 an hour. But
yeah, that's better.
That's more than I'm making now. When I got a job in the movie theater business when I was a teenager, it was $1.25 an hour.
Yeah.
That was many years ago.
I think my first job was $1.75 an hour.
Mine was $1.25, and I was in high school. I was in the 10th grade. Right. No, 10th or 11th grade, and it was like $1.25 an hour. But I love working at the Bailey, the theater. It was one of these theaters in Wilmington. It was like a mini Fox. It had 2 balconies, and they had the mezzanine, but they call it the center one, and then they had the balcony up top. But it was an old Art Deco looking theater. It was really kind of cool.
Shame they tore it down.
They tore it down, and they put a parking lot there. How about that? But the marquee is kind of like the plaza here in Atlanta, had 2 big sides on it. Mm-hmm. But the marquee letters were made out of lead, and they were heavy as hell. But excuse me, the new ones now are plastic, but the heavy ones, the wind couldn't blow them off the marquee or anything, So I remember the first night I changed the marquee. It was both sides, and we had 2. I mean, like 1 week, Wayne was the other guy. He would change all the posters out, and then I'd change the marquee, and then the next week I'd change the posters out, and then he would do the marquee. Right. But the first time I tried to do the marquee, I changed the marquee. It took me 2 hours to change. You had to get on a huge ladder, and the manager, Mr. Grist, he would write down what he wanted on the marquee.
Right.
But what you do, you go through and you see what you need to put up there for the new movie. But then you eliminate 8, letters. Like if you need 5 A's and you got 4 up there, then you just get 1 new A from the box in the downstairs. Right. So you just eliminate letters and only get what you need, and you just move everything around.
Right.
You just. And back then we had Technicolor, which was a process they don't use anymore. And we had a little marquee. It said Technicolor. It was just 1 piece, and we could only put that up if the movie was actually in Technicolor.
Ah.
Yeah. If it was Eastman color or deluxe color, we couldn't do it. But if it was Technicolor, we put it up.
I remember that's how the Soupy Sills show used to start, with them changing the marquee letters all around, and that was funny back then. I used to change the letters at a Belo's supermarket, which is my first real job aside from the prep route.
Right.
And I remember one time I was out there doing the loads. I might have been talking to somebody. I don't know. And you know, you didn't have a ladder. You had a big stick, and you would mount the load to the stick and raise it up,
Right.
and put it on the side. Well, I spelled, instead of pork loin, I put pork lion. And
That's funny.
it made the newspaper. It took the newspaper, took a picture of it and put it in their, and I didn't get in trouble for it, but they knew I had done it because I'm the one that's.
It's funny. Sometimes you see on social media sites that people, like, for whatever, like a restaurant or a food store, they'll misspell words on the marquee, and it's kind of funny.
Yeah, it is. No, it is. No, it really is.
They just not paying attention, and it's just like it's crazy. But
So one thing I noticed about research, you can't see if anyone's leaving comments. You might be able to do that, but you haven't really looked
right.
at. It'd be nice to see if there's any comments. And you said you don't know who you're streaming to. You might be streaming to TikTok and Twitch.
Mm-hmm.
And were you able to make Facebook work? I remember at Facebook there was an issue at one time where you could not go live anymore, which is weird.
Well, you can't go live on groups.
Groups, that's what it was. Okay.
Yeah. You can go live on personal pages, but you can't go live on groups. Now, there's ways around doing that. You can actually share from your personal page over to a group. You can share it like that, but you can't go live with it, which is crazy. I don't know why they do that, but I guess the group pages are more, like for entertainment purposes, for whatever group you like. Like I have a film group page, and it's just mainly for film stuff. So, but yeah, that they just cut the group streaming out live anyway.
Wow.
So
that's a shame.
It is.
Well, listen, I've got to get up early and go to the doctor, and then I got to go to work, and I still got a bad cold. So
yeah, I can tell you got a little bit of a cold, but I'm glad you came on here. I just wanted to check out Restream and see, work okay,
and see what if it went to TikTok. I'd be curious because I'm surprised I did not get an alert saying that.
I set it up for TikTok, and whether it went there or not, I don't know.
Yeah.
Let me see.
So I wonder when you sign off, will it tell you what it went to?
Now I'm looking at my page now, and I don't see it, but they said it was already there. Now it's on Facebook and all the other, and YouTube and Twitch and my film movement page, but I don't. Maybe it'll show up after I sign off. I don't know.
Transportels is it called? Your phone.
Oh yeah. So, but no, it's we'll see. Hopefully. Well, listen. Thanks for checking this out. I appreciate it. And then we'll do it again. And set your room back up a little bit, and I'll come over there.
Maybe I will. Okay, brother.
All right, man. Well, have a good one, and everybody, thanks for hanging in here. All right.
I'll see you next time.
All right.